Hey guys, Jacob here. As you know, it is the 29th of June 2021, and this is going to be this week's vendor reset. At the front desk vendor this week, they're selling the test subject. This one has pretty average stats, what you guys can expect, and has stability. But if you guys don't have this, I'd highly recommend picking this up because Perfect in Sync is probably one of my favorite talents and probably one of the best talents in the game for skill builds and overall damage builds because you can combine them both together and also make some cool hybrids. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys want to pick this stuff up. Overall, though, they're not really selling anything too crazy at the front desk, but I will point out these few items that you guys can use. For one is going to be this 15% weapon damage backpack, which if you guys are going to have the max roll in your backpack, I'd highly recommend grabbing this. The next thing is going to be this Fender's chest piece. If you guys are new to the game and just starting off, I think you should probably buy maybe at least 2 of these, maybe even 3 if you have the money, but I'd buy at least 1 or 2 so that way you have spotter, and also you could change it to something like Intimidate or Obliterate and use this for a DPS crit build or a DPS AR style build. And in general, this is a pretty awesome piece. I would highly recommend if you're just starting off on the game. But overall, that's really all they're selling at the front desk vendor. Now, if you guys just go right past the ivory key box, then go through the murals for the raids, and then go right here at the end of the hallway, you will go to the clan quarters. Shout out to DOD and Kamikaze Von Doom. And when you take a right, you will see the clan vendor. This week, he's selling the contractor gloves. These ones are pretty decent. They're not obviously triple stat, but this is another pickup I'd highly recommend getting, especially if you're new and just starting out. Then I would grab, this as well. And if you combine this with that Fender's chest piece, you're already on a way of making pretty much a damage to armor build if you really want to, or a overall DPS build, which most players use in the DZ, raids, etc., or just casual farming in general. Let's scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys want to pick this stuff up. But overall, they're not really selling anything too crazy at the clan vendor. They are selling skill haste on these Murakami knee pads if you guys need those, which is going to be max, of course, 12%. But other than that, that's all they're really selling at the front desk vendors. Next location is going to be the Theater Settlement. This week, they're selling the Firm Handshake gloves. These ones have status effect and headshot. If you guys are trying to make a status effect style build with SMGs, you obviously can use these, but I know most people try to avoid them when they're making status effect style builds. But if you guys need these, I'd highly recommend picking them up because you can make some pretty interesting builds with these gloves. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys want to pick this stuff up. But overall, that's all they're really selling at the Theater Settlement. Next is going to be the Campus Settlement. This week they're selling the Quiet Roar. The talents on this are pretty much just a little above average, nothing too crazy. But I will scroll through a few more items in case you guys want to pick any of these up. But overall, nothing really too crazy at the Campus Settlement. Alright guys, so next is going to be the Dark Zones. Keep this in mind, you will have to get DZ resources to buy these items. If you guys do not know exactly how DZ resources work, you can go into the DZ and extract gear and pretty much deconstruct it. Or pretty much deconstruct the gear when you're in the DZ and it goes into your biohazard bag and then extract it and you get those resources. Or you can open up smaller boxes scattered around the DZ and you guys can get the resources that way. But just keep this in mind as well, if you are extracting resources, they can be stolen, so other players can run up and kill you and take those resources because they're still in the DZ and they're a contaminated item. So if you want to get them guaranteed, you only get 1 though per opening box, which is the little chest scattered around, and you get those immediately, but other than that, the other ones can be stolen until you extract them. But the vendor this week, they are selling the Everlasting Gaze, which this one is very low. It's just above the minimum mark, and it has 17% critical hit damage. But I will scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys want to grab these, and I will point out if there's any of them worth grabbing. For sniper builds, if you guys are trying to get rolly holding gloves, these ones aren't too bad because they do have critical hit chance and explosive resistance. You could roll to headshot or even critical hit damage. But other than that, nothing really too crazy at DZ West. Over at DZ South, this week they are selling the Grunge SMG. This one's very low as well compared to some of the items that are for sale this week. So I'd recommend not grabbing this. You guys can always farm loot allocations to try getting it. But overall, stats on this are pretty low. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys want to pick these items up. But overall, not really anything too crazy at DZ South either. The final Dark Zone is going to be DZ East. And this week, she is selling the Carnage. This one has pretty much almost max optimal range. I know a lot of you guys don't really care about that stuff. But I will scroll through a few more items in case any of you guys need this stuff. But overall, not really seeing anything too crazy this week. But that's pretty much how it is most of the time. The final stop, which is going to be New York City. Keep this in mind, they don't sell any named items, so these are pretty much all standard items if you guys need them. But overall, they are selling a few max items with max rolls, which is going to be magazine size for your pistols, and also repair skills if you guys need that for a healer style build for your chest piece. But overall, nothing too crazy at the front desk vendor in New York City. If you guys go through the atrium and take a right through the green chain link fence, and go right past the dog, and Roy Benitez will be right here. And this week, he's not really selling anything too crazy either. They are selling max damage to armor for snipers if you guys need that for marksman rifles. But overall, nothing really, anything too crazy. I will point out the Siska, holster if you guys are trying to make a hazard style build or even a critical hit chance build. I would grab that. And also point out the Healer Guard backpack if you guys need Bloodsucker. If you guys are looking for that as well. And also the Overlord Armaments knee pads if you guys are trying to make a rifle build. But a lot of you guys are going to be using Fox's Prayers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But nothing really anything too crazy for sale this week. If you guys are new, there are a few items like the contractor gloves and that Fenris vest and a few other items here and there you might find some use out of. But nothing really anything that I'd really pick up that is worth anything because I already have most maxed out stuff. But definitely would highly recommend picking up the contractor gloves in the Fenris chest piece and anything you guys really see you need to your liking or if you're trying to make some new builds. Another thing I will mention real quick is going to be that I'll be also releasing a channel update very soon, giving you guys a little bit of heads up what's going on with the channel. I know some people have been asking me recently why the lack of uploads has been happening, and that's the fact that I have a lot of stuff going on, and also I've been trying to have some stuff in the works for the end of this year that I've been working on and trying to get set up properly so I can do it. I will let you guys know that there are a few big games that will be popping up on the channel in the future that I'm going to be really excited to pretty much cover, and I will be showing you guys a little sneak peek, pretty much a trailer when I talk about the channel update. But overall, thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys all later.